Hi everyone. If green water in your fish tub ponds is bothering you, I'd like to offer something that may be worth trying. It doesn't work in all cases, but when it does, it's an easy way to get much clearer water with very little time and energy. And that is to simply move your tub. What I did was I moved the tub that was here, it was end to end with that tub, to there, and the water became much more clear. I still maintained my regular schedule of partial water changes, and I kept all the fish and the plants in here constant. In other words, the only difference was the amount of sunlight that came through the morning between the eave of my house and this overhead canopy, and that was it. That was enough to make the difference and make it able to see all the way down to the bottom. Now the water is not crystal clear, but it is clear enough to see any of the fish at all the various levels within this tub. Now this tub is not as clear as this tub. This tub, for some reason, in its given location, has always been the ideal tub for me, and it really, has carried different amounts of fish in here. But somehow, with the sunlight and me leaving the attached side wall, vertical walls, the type of green algae on here, that seems to be enough to really make this water very clear. So this water, you can see all the way to the bottom, and it's still not as clear as, say, fish tanks, with the most powerful filters running. That's the most clear water. Not sure I'll ever achieve that, especially, let's wait for the wind to die down, given the fact that I like things simple, and I don't even want to run filters on my outdoor tubs, because that would just create a level of complexity that I don't really want to do. So because I'm not running filters, I also have to purposely limit the amount of fish stocking levels. So here I have my guppies. I am a guppy breeding hobbyist, so I have two strains in here, a golden scaled micro strain and a gray scaled neon type blue eagle strain. And I do need the guppies for mosquito control, but I don't necessarily need all of these guppies, and being that my tub's black background make it somewhat difficult to see the gray bodied guppies, I am thinking about collecting the gray bodied ones and bringing them over to a friend's, because he'll enjoy the guppies and I don't need quite so many for the mosquito control. So that would help me, even further get this water to be a little bit more clear. The other thing is that being that I'm right on the edge, because I'm not running any filters, I also don't keep any snails or bottom dwelling fish or shrimp, because that would add more biological loading. Also, when it comes to green water, the inputs are fairly simple to understand. It's basically available nutrients and sunlight. But when it comes to the actual practice of controlling green water, that can be a little bit more difficult to achieve because of the fine parameters or fine thresholds that we're dealing with. So when I'm actively breeding and raising guppies, I normally set up these tubs here I call my 6-pack. And it's interesting to note that, although it seems almost identical in their setup, in terms of being under this tree's canopy with the partial sunlight, partial shade, they're all the same size. I fill the water to the same depth. It's interesting to me how some tubs, say that one, and that one, might be pea soup green, while that one and that one remain, very clear and have a nice lush growth of that healthy sidewall type bright green algae that I assume is scavenging, CO2 and what have you, making it non-available for the unicellular type algae that leads to green water. So being that it's so hard to control, I really don't bother too much with trying to control it. Main thing is that the fish can grow well in those tubs, and I've gotten quite used to it. In fact, some of the virtues of having some green water available is that it made it easy for me to raise grummies. In the last few months, I bred and raised grummies in this very tub, and you know, gouramis are very tiny when they're newly hatched. I did not need to use any infusoria, moina, baby brine shrimp, not even prepared powdered flake food. You know, I basically just used green water and stirring up the contents from the debris at the bottom of this tub a few times a day, and I was able to get these fry to grow to the point in which they could accept crushed flake food. So it made it very easy. You know, so you know, as humans, sometimes we have a distrust or reluctance, maybe even a disdain for solutions that seem overly simple. But here's one I tell you that does work. You know, sometimes it depends on your given situation, but it's worth trying, because if it doesn't, then you can move on to more elaborate type solutions that involve more specialized filtration or water cleaning schedules and what have you. So I just like to offer, you know, that very simple solution as a possible thing to try, and if that doesn't work, then maybe embrace some of the virtues of green water. It's not all bad. Thanks for watching.